I'm going to go through. We'll do it conference by conference. We'll just go alphabetical.
Okay. Alphabetical.
Well, alphabetical for AFC.
Oh.
I'll read through my teams and you tell me what you think.
But we're doing seeding order, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's very simple for me. Having just said I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to win MVP, I do think the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be amazing this year. Number 1 overall seed in the AFC. They get the bye week at 2. Like I said, I've got the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm higher than most on the Buffalo Bills. I've got them winning the AFC East as the 3 seed. Houston wraps it up as the 4 seed. Whoever doesn't win the AFC North, I think, is a lock to be the 5 seed, whether it's Cincinnati or Baltimore.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I'll put the Baltimore Ravens at the 5 seed. And then continuing my theme for the show, Carm, I think the New York Jets are making the playoffs. I've got them as the 6th seed in the AFC playoffs. And my crazy one, because remember, you always have to keep in mind, too, like half the playoff teams turn over.
Oh, yeah. It's so hard because predicting them, though, it's like, oh, no, I think these teams are going to make it. And you're like, wait a second, those are last year's teams.
Exactly.
And that never works out that way. It never works out that way.
Laugh if you want to. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars sneak back into the playoffs. They've still got Trevor. Brian Thomas Jr. looks exciting. They hired Ryan Nielsen as defensive coordinator to fix their defense. I've got the Jags making it as the 7th seed. I just can't quit the Jaguars. I refuse. What do you think?
I think this is pretty well, the last couple teams. We agree on the first 5. We'll just put it that way.
Oh, so you have different wild cards.
I have different wild cards.
All right, show me what you have. All right, yours are right here.
Yeah, mine are right there. Okay, there we go. So
you're a bigger believer in the Buffalo Bills than me.
I know. I don't know. I think that's a little bit more interchangeable. I really liked your case now with the Cincinnati, so I think I would put them higher.
All right, so you've got KC 1, Buffalo 2,
Baltimore 3, Houston 4, Cincinnati 5, and then my wild cards are the Miami Dolphins and my little feisty team, the Indianapolis Colts.
I like it.
I don't know that I'm totally sold on Anthony Richardson yet, but if he is who the Colts think he is, I think that this team is pretty well set up to kind of make a little bit of a run, make a little bit of noise.
They only missed the playoffs by a game last year.
Right. And then you think about the fact that, I mean, they're not going to get past the Texans most likely in that division. But like, other than that, I think it's a pretty, you can stack some wins there.
I think most of us agree. Like, it's hard not to see Houston winning the AFC South, but the other 3 teams, you can all make a very fun case. You can make a fun case for all of them to reach the postseason. But you're going with the Colts. And you're not quitting on Mike McD and the Dolphins either.
No, he's too much fun.
That's fair.
And they're too much fun. I mean, they're fast. They need to figure out how to play in cold weather, but they're fast.
And
they're fun. And Tua just got paid.
It's the perfect snapshot. It's the best snapshot I've ever heard of the Dolphins is they're fast. They got to learn how to play deep in the season. That's basically it.
That's basically it. So, and maybe this is the year that they do it. And I think that they have a lot of promise to them.
I don't feel as good about my NFC predictions just because it feels so chalk. Like I just said, you can count on half of the teams to turn over every year.
Yeah.
But I see this being a very familiar cast of characters. So instead of picking a bunch of new teams, I do think the order is going to be different. And my biggest shakeup, I'm worried enough about the vibes in San Francisco. Like I still think I think the Niners are going to be there. But I'm rolling with the Detroit Lions to be the NFC's number 1 seed. I love this team.
We're 1 seed off for them, but I couldn't pull the trigger.
I believe
the Niners.
I believe. No, like I said, when's Trent Williams coming back? What condition is he going to be in? Yeah. Same goes for Brandon Ayuk. I still see the Niners as a team that's going to win a lot of games, but I'm just nervous enough to knock them down. So I go Detroit with the bye. I think Philly bounces back in a big way and wins the NFC East. Niners is my 3 seed. Atlanta wins the South. And then 2 very familiar teams from last year, Green Bay and Dallas. Dallas doesn't have to play Green Bay this year. I'll put Dallas as my 6th seed. And then I didn't want to do it.
I know.
I don't want to put these expectations on Caleb and the Chicago Bears. But if I think he's good enough to win Rookie of the Year.
Right. Then how do you argue against the team doing well enough to get to the playoffs? That was my rationale too.
9-8. could get you into the 7th seed.
Yeah.
And then you get a chance to like play the Eagles. Wouldn't that be fun?
It would be so much fun. So much so that I had it too.
You have the Bears as your 7th?
The Bears as my last wild card team.
It's just fun.
It's a pretty similar cast of characters. I did have Tampa Bay instead of Atlanta winning the South because I'm still a big believer in them. They were able to withstand losing Tom Brady, and then they've won the South the last 3 years. I don't see that changing, especially when they're returning basically the same team. I did have San Francisco though first. I just am not willing to bet against them, especially I know what happened last year when both Debo and Trent Williams were out. I think Trent Williams is going to get done, and I don't see him needing much of a ramp-up period. That guy is a machine. And then if for some reason Brandon Ayuk takes a little bit of time, if they don't get the deal done in time for the season and there's some, messiness to start the season, at this point, Kyle Shanahan has time to anticipate that. And I think that he can come up with a plan that doesn't include Brandon Ayuk and that does. I mean, I think that he has a contingency plan, whereas last year when you lose a guy to injury like Debo, you don't have a chance to have a contingency plan. So I still have San Francisco winning the conference, but I have Detroit right behind them because much in the way that, they're still going to have to play a first place schedule, but it's going to take a lot to win the NFC North.
It is. Yeah.
And so I think that their win total, you're looking at 12, 13 wins in Detroit for Detroit. So I think that that's right up there. Philly, I have them bouncing back too because they have a lot of talent. Howie Roseman is never satisfied. You're constantly kind of bettering that roster, although I don't think we're talking enough about the Jason Kelce departure and their signature play, the tush push. No one wants to talk about how big of an influence
might not look as impressive in 2024.
Yeah, and he's not there anymore. So we're going to see.
We're working. Basically, we just differ on who wins the NFC South. And
basically,
and
then
seeding.
I kind of threw caution to the wind. I put Chicago in there. I like it.
We're here to have fun.
We're here to have fun.
And
I still maintain you don't need to have these expectations, but you can absolutely see a path that this is a reality. I want to caution against, this is my whole thing with these crazy expectations of Chicago. It's not that I don't believe in the Bears. I totally do, actually. I think the foundation that has been set for them is amazing. I think what Ryan Poles has done in 3 short years is amazing. It's just, I don't want the Bears fans to turn on this team if things don't go well right away or if things are up and down. I think I heard you talking on a previous podcast with Mike Gold Jr. about how these things aren't usually linear. You don't just necessarily see all right, we did this, we got better. We did this, we got better. And then everything's smooth sailing all the way onward and upward. That's rarely how it works in the NFL. So I'm just trying to protect the Bears a little bit from the city turning on them if things don't go like a fairy tale right away. But that doesn't mean I don't believe in them. And it doesn't mean that I don't think it's completely realistic to see Chicago in the playoffs, which also means three teams from the NFC North.
Totally
in the year of our Lord, 2024.
Totally
in the playoffs. I mean, it happened last year with the AFC North.
Exactly.
So why can't it be the NFC North this year, guys?
It breaks my heart to leave the LA Rams off my
I know.
list. I do like again, at some point you have to pay attention to a statistic. And if half of the teams in the playoffs are turning over every year, could the Rams make it instead of the Cowboys? Absolutely. But I think I like the overall talent on the Cowboys roster a little better. We'll see about that. Now let's jump to the big thing. Super Bowl, which, again, if you're mad at me because I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to win NFL MVP, I'm sorry. Because guess what? As excited as we are about the unpredictability of the NFL season, I think it's going to have a very familiar ending, Carmen. I really do.
Just because we're tired of it doesn't mean it's not going to happen.
I do have the Green Bay Packers making a run as a wild card.
That's fun.
I've got the Packers getting to New Orleans, where they've won a Super Bowl before, but they were not playing the Patrick Mahomes Kansas City Chiefs all the way back in 1996. I've got the Chiefs pulling off the three-peat, beating Jordan Love. How ironic would it be? I wanted to see a Mahomes-Rodgers Green Bay Chiefs Super Bowl for so long.
I know, and now
if it happened,
Green Bay would get there without
Rodgers, Maybe it happens either. If you're asking me, Chiefs or the field, as crazy as it sounds,
I'm taking the Chiefs, man.
I'm taking the Chiefs. I know you feel similarly. What do you have?
I do. I mean, keep in mind too, with your prediction, like Green Bay, I think is going to have a really high win total too. They're just not going to win the division.
No,
it's going to take a lot.
Like you said, it's going to be hard to win the NFC North.
I also went Chiefs versus an NFC North team. And before you get crazy, Chicago, it's not you. Sorry, it's the Detroit Lions. Because I really think that, first of all, they got within a half of a Super Bowl appearance last season.
So close.
And for anybody who thinks that they're going to fall off because they're not the underdogs anymore, or they don't have the chip on their shoulder, they absolutely have a chip on their shoulder. And I witnessed this firsthand. I was in the locker room after they lost the NFC Championship game in Santa Clara to the Niners, and the way that there was a fire in every single one of those players' eyes. And more than that, there was a fire in Dan Campbell's eyes. And if you don't think Dan Campbell has spent all offseason, all preseason, and will not spend all regular season poking and prodding his players, reminding them about that exact feeling in that exact locker room every step of the way to keep them motivated. When you're talking about the elites, when it comes to these teams that make it to the Super Bowl, once you get to the playoffs, all these teams have a ton of talent. What differentiates these guys is the belief they have in themselves and all of the intangible things that come along with a strong culture and belief and leadership, which this team has at every single level. And the way that every single one of these guys will run through a brick wall for Dan Campbell at any moment in time. I just have to think that this happens for them. I want it to happen for them. I love the Detroit Lions. They're so much fun.
Having said all of that,
wonderful
stuff,
they're going to lose to the Chiefs.
Run from it. Dread it. Destiny arrives all the same. It really,
I can't bet against them.
Knowing, of course, we don't know for sure what's going to happen. But in this era of ultimate parity, where you can turn a team around in 12 months, literally. And
look at the Houston Texans.
Every team has a chance every year. The Chiefs really might win a third straight Super Bowl. And it's not, I mean, of course it's not crazy. It doesn't even seem
despite the fact that it's never been done before.
It's never been done. Not since the mid 60s. The mid 60s Packers did it.
Right.
And since then, a couple teams have come close, but I think the Chiefs are going to come closer because, like I said,
they're going to do it.
If it's the Chiefs or the field, who do you feel better about than the Chiefs? It's a weird place we're living in.
How about them Chiefs?
You know what? Thank you, Andy Reid.